Emily, are you perfect? Okay, so I'm going to kick it off by just giving a quick overview of kind of my insight and my passion for helping kids too. I'm a pediatric nurse, now home full time for the past year, but I love being able to hear success stories of kids and their health. Also, families, moms, husbands, all of it. So tonight we're going to just be inspired and encouraged with ways that Plexus has been able to help our kiddos. I can tell you that so many end up in the hospital with GI issues and allergies and autoimmune, and just, I mean, there's a real need there. And so it's amazing. I can't wait for you to hear all that's to come. But I know for myself personally, I was running off of caffeine and naps to make it through my day. I had crazy sugar cravings where I was seeking out the sweet tooth fix. And my digestion, it was totally off. I was bloated and constipated and just uncomfortable all the time. And then my milk supply was really low. So those were just some of the things that interested me in trying to help, and some successes that I saw early on in my journey. And then those things have resolved. And since, it's been exciting to be able to help offer the same help and solutions for other people through gut health, blood sugar balance, inflammation, increasing nutrient absorption. All of those things are so key for us to be feeling our best, especially with our diets, the environmental exposures we have, the sugar intake, antibiotics, other medications, all those things just wreak havoc on our systems. And so Plexus offers amazing, simple products for us to balance out and offer some healing that's happening internally. So I am going to let Lacey kick it off with her amazing story.
Hi guys, I'm Lacey. I'm in North Dakota. My story actually starts because my son Eli, he was 5 years old at the time, and we lived on Miralax. To back up a little bit, he was a micro preemie baby. He was a twin, so he was only 1.14 pounds when he was born. And so weight gain was always something we needed. And you're typically going to hear a lot of people talk about weight loss because that's what most of us need, right? But he desperately needed to gain weight. He wasn't on any type of chart. He created his own weight chart. But we lived on Miralax. I actually remember buying it in it would come in 3 bottles, and they were 32-ounce bottles. So they were like the big jugs. And we would go through those in no time. We were buying them all the time. He needed help pooping. We lived on that stuff, but he also had acid reflux really bad. And so because he was preemie, that's just very common, but he needed something to keep his feedings down. Every time we fed him, it honestly was probably 3 to 4 times a day. And sometimes overnight he would vomit. And if you guys have ever cleaned puke out of a car seat, it's not any more fun cleaning puke out of a wheelchair. He had cerebral palsy, so he has special needs, had a feeding tube, ended up with a tracheostomy. So lots of issues going on. But we, within a couple months, found relief from the acid reflux, from the not being able to poop without Miralax. And I mean, it was like clockwork. He was so great. I mean, it was just and over time, we started to see that healthy weight gain. And our dietitian was like, keep doing whatever you're doing. Don't stop it. We were even trying to add calories to his feedings. It was just empty calories, but it was calories to get his weight up, and nothing was seeming to work. But I started also when my son started the products, because he was nonverbal and I wanted to know what the hype was about, right? Everybody was like, oh my gosh, I sleep better and I have more energy. And I think the skeptical medical, healthcare professional in me was like, nah, this is too good to be true. I'm going to prove this wrong. But within a couple of weeks, I had more energy. I could stay up and actually fold a laundry basket of clothes instead of crashing after I put my kids to bed. I no longer needed to crack open my Dr. Pepper at 8 a.m. in the morning when I opened up my schedule of PT patients, and was just exhausted already from looking at that. I didn't crave sweets. I used to it would be nothing to bake a pan of cookies and I would want to eat half the pan because they're soft, warm cookies, but I just don't crave that anymore. I ended up losing 25 pounds. And so that wasn't something that I started for. Here we go, working with our kiddos. That wasn't something that I started for, but it was just a very welcome benefit that came with starting the products. It wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't an overnight thing, but very welcome benefit, very welcome side effect. We ended up, I ended up sleeping so much better. Like I remember waking up before my alarm went off and ready to do my workouts. Had way more energy for them, and they were just way more like productive. And so between my son, myself, my other kids have benefited with their help with their pooping, and we've just seen so many things, along with mood for everybody. Like behaviors are way less, tantrums are way less. My mood is way like more patient with my kids. It's incredible. I could go on forever, but I'm going to pass it on to Holly so she can tell you a little bit about her kiddos.
Hey guys, I am so excited to get to share with y'all. Okay, so let me look at the time because 3 minutes. Whew, let's see if I can do that. All right, so let's start with a little bit about me. I live in Corpus Christi, Texas, so way down here in the South. I originally started because I was mentally and physically exhausted. I had 3 babies back to back. And then I had weight loss surgery, and then I was pregnant with my 4th baby, and all in a span of 5 years. And that was really taking a toll on my body. And I had been on so many different medications, 8 to be exact, and I didn't know how I was going to continue to do it because I had 2 kids that were at school, and then I had a baby at home, and then one that was fixing to be due. I have my little man here playing on the floor. And so I'd heard Casey talking about all these different benefits. And I'm like, I don't think anything's going to help me because nothing has helped. But why don't I just give it a shot? Because at this point, anything was better than nothing. Like I was laying on the couch. I had no energy for my kids. Like it was depressing. And I thought weight loss surgery was going to bring me all the energy and make me lose weight and not have the sugar cravings. And that was not the answer. I had a lot more to have help with. So I gave it a shot, and within the first month, not even a 90-day time span, like I could feel so much better. I would say the first thing that I noticed was my energy levels. I was able to get up off the couch. I was able to participate with my kids more. Like I was blown away. Like I did not think this was possible. And then I started noticing big changes. My mental health was doing so much better. After I had baby number 4, I didn't have postpartum depression. And then I had a 5th baby who's down here crawling on the floor, and I got to breastfeed for the first time ever. That's a big deal for me. I had struggles with gestational diabetes and high blood pressure whenever I was pregnant before with my other kids prior to Plexus. And this time I didn't have that. And so that made such a big improvement. And whenever I started adding in the pink drink, because I started really slow, I was like super skeptic woman. So I didn't start with everything like I should have. And now I'm like, yes, just do it. Like, don't just do one product at a time. Like, just go for it. Triplex is awesome, which I'm on much more now, but it's been so beneficial just with the triplex. Sorry. But I had wonderful milk supply, and I'd never breastfed before. So that has really, like, I had seen a big jump in adding the pink drink to see my milk supply increase. So those are just some blessings that have really helped me. But a little bit about my son, Jax. He's the one that I'm so passionate, and I've done so much research because I've always struggled with like ADHD and issues along that line, like mental health wise. And I'd seen my son struggling as well. I was just figuring out with Plexus, like how to do a more natural route because I had so many struggles, but I had no idea it was affecting my son too. He just couldn't verbalize that for me. So I feel like we are advocates for our children. And so I will shout it out to everybody. Medication can be a helpful tool, but in our situation, in our circumstances, it was like a roller coaster of nightmares. So he had been on 4 different medications. He was suicidal, and he's only 7. So we had a big major conference with the school. Like it was just getting really ugly. And I started putting stuff together. Like I had these same issues. Like I just didn't realize. So my son's having these too. And so, I got him off of his ADHD medicine. It wasn't planned because we moved and we're having insurance issues. And so he actually got off cold turkey. So that was not the route to go. But y'all, he is a different child now. I know I only have so much time, so I'm going to try and hurry. But he has gained weight. He would not eat before. He almost seemed like he was like without emotion. And that scared me so bad because we thought he was possible autistic, but he has ADHD and sensory processing disorder. So both those things combined can come off that way. And the medicine was making it so hard for him. And we had been on different ones. So it's not like, well, he wasn't on the right medication. Like, no, that was not it. Now, y'all, he loves food. We're working on that. I might put him on slim hunger control because he gained 30 pounds, but I'm so glad because he was underweight and he was looking sickly and he wouldn't conversate with people. He wouldn't look you in the eye. Like now he has feelings and emotions. So we're dealing with that. I'm not so sure how to handle all of it, but I am so thankful that he has this opportunity to be able to be the Jax that I knew he could be. He is my little boy again. And that brings tears to my eyes because I didn't know what we were going to do for him to live a sad life forever. Like at 7, thinking about not wanting to be alive, like I was blown away. And now he is doing homework, conversating with others. Like they say, he's a joy to be around in the classroom. He's a goofball. He's like the class clown. So I am beyond thankful. So next we have Miss Liz Schmidt, who's going to tell us about her story.
Hey guys, my name is Liz Schmidt and I'm super excited to share a little bit of my story with you. Wasn't that like incredible, Holly? I think your story, like, that just brings me to tears. Like that is absolutely incredible. The power of healing your gut microbiome and reducing inflammation and control, like regulating blood sugar. It is amazing what that can do. Blows me away every single time. And you might be thinking right now, like, whoa, like how can one thing do this many things? That's because those 3 issues are related to so many health issues. Just incredible. Anyway, I got started on Plexus because I was someone just looking for a new probiotic. I had struggled with digestive issues like my whole life, I think. And I had tried every other probiotic out there, everyone, I think. I had been to doctors. I had done all sorts of tests, food sensitivity, all of like the celiacs, all of the things. And I never, like nothing really helped. I took a probiotic for like 15 years because I knew I needed to because my tummy was all messed up, but nothing ever really super helped me. And so when I heard about this gut health system, I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. And you guys, it worked. Like for the first time ever, like I could like go out to eat and not worry about what I was going to order. I could travel and not like think about my tummy, like all of these things, like this actually worked. And so when I realized that, hey, like this works on your gut microbiome, like I know this works. I had been giving my daughter Miralax she was 2 at the time. And I had been giving her Miralax like probably her whole, I mean, since at least like she was 1, I don't know, maybe her whole life. I don't know, like 2 full capfuls, like a lot of Miralax every single day. Otherwise she was miserable. Like miserable, and everyone else was miserable because she wasn't sleeping and she was just uncomfortable. Like that's the worst feeling when you have to go and you can't go, right? And I knew that Miralax like wasn't great for her, but we needed it, I thought. And so when I realized that this worked on my gut health, I was like, I'm gonna give this to her. And so I gave it to her, and you guys, she poops every single day now. Like every single day, no Miralax, like just done with it. And she goes every day and it's not even an issue. I also have a 7-year-old who has autism, and she has done a lot of like withholding with her poop. Like it's a thing with autism. They hold their poop in. I don't know. She does. And it was a huge, huge struggle. And now she takes Plexus every day. She goes to the bathroom every day. And you guys, when I say it's life-changing, like that has changed our life because her going every day, like it really, really matters for like just mood and how her overall, like her sensory, how her body feels. Like that has changed our life that she goes a lot of days. Like it's a big deal to have my kids pooping every single day, like a really, really big deal. And for me to not be dealing with those digestive issues, it's also helped my anxiety a ton. Like naturally, just like managing that a lot more is super, super helpful, and not something that I ever thought would be my reality. So now I'm going to pass it on to Ashley, and she's going to share a little bit of her story with us.
Hello, everybody. So my story began with Plexus in 2019. I was looking for something to help regulate my hormones. My thyroid levels were off, my testosterone was off, and I just needed something to help. So I started on the products for that reason. And so that was in October of 2019. And by December of that year, my husband kind of called me out and was like, you feel better. I can tell, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I can really tell that these are making a difference for you. And so I kind of already had, agreed in myself or with myself to continue to pay for these products for myself. And, that's hard to do as mamas. It's hard to put ourselves as a priority. And so that was really hard for me to kind of swallow and do. And in November of that year, so just a month before my husband had made that comment to me, my Sonny, he's 9 now. At the time he was 5, he was in the hospital with pneumonia. And the backstory on Sonny is since he was about 8 months old, he pretty much weekly was on an albuterol nebulizer. He was on albuterol and budesonide most of his life. We would have to do nebulizer treatments minimum 4 times a week. Most of the time it was daily. They never diagnosed him with actual asthma, but they diagnosed him with illness-induced asthma. So when he would start to get any kind of little bug, and you know how sick kids get, how frequent kids get sick. It was just like all the time. He would just get just this fullness, and it would land right in his chest, and he couldn't get rid of it for weeks. And so it was just constant. We had inhaler as he grew a little bit older. We had an inhaler at his daycare center. He was on an asthma plan. We were on kind of a back and forth of Claritin and Zyrtec. And so it was like, depending on the time of the year, he would be on one, and then the other time of the year, he'd be on the other one. He actually knew how to do it himself at like 3 years old. He would just squirt it in each nostril, which really freaked me out. That was the Flonase. He would squirt in each nostril. He would take the little tabs of the Claritin or the Zyrtec. And he just knew that it was part of his day. Like, that's just what he did. And he did that until he was about 5.5. And then we landed in the hospital with pneumonia. And I thought it was going to be like an overnight trip to the hospital, and it ended up being for 5 days. So he was a super sick little buddy. He had, and what I kind of figured out is he had an immune system that just didn't work well. And so after we got out of the hospital, and I made my husband bring me my Plexus products in the hospital, because I was like, I can't go 5 days without these. So he brought them to the hospital with me, or for me, when he would come and visit. And I just said, we're going to try these products for Sonny. Like, he has to feel better. If I'm going to pay the money for me to feel better, he has to feel better. So that was in December of 2019 is when we started those for him. And we actually did not go back to the doctor until August of 2020. So over 8 months later. And when we went in, it was for like the well child check for both him and my younger son, Will. And our pediatrician actually asked us if we were seeing a pediatrician closer to our home, because there hadn't been a month since Sonny was 8 months old that we hadn't been in the doctor's office for at least him, if not him and Will. So he was like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because he is finally able to combat stuff that comes at him. Like, he is finally, and there's people that have said, oh, he just grew out of it. Like, he just grew out of his respiratory issues. And I'm sure that there are parts of him that matured and grew out of it, but there's no way that you could go from being in the doctor's office every single month for his entire life practically to not once in 8 months. Like, it was such a drastic, and the only thing that we changed was we added in, and we had done so many different things. We had eliminated cow's milk. We had, started with like a pea protein milk. We had eliminated other kinds of dairy. We had tried gluten. Like, there was so many things that we tried, and nothing worked until we started on the kids multivitamin, and then I would add in the ProBio 5 if there was anything that we like. If we were around someone who was not feeling well, we would add that in. And it was 8 months of him not getting sick. And now he talks about, remember when I used to not be able to breathe, Mom? Like, remember when I had to use the nebulizer all the time? And it's still in our cupboard, because what do you do with like a nebulizer after you're done using it? Like, it's just sitting there, but we don't have to use it anymore. And it's been a huge blessing for our family. Next, actually, I don't even remember who's next. I'm sorry. Oh, Lauren's next. She's waving.
All right. Hey, y'all. My name is Lauren. I am currently 38 weeks pregnant, so gonna make this short and sweet because I'm pretty uncomfortable. I started on Plexus back in 2020 when my really good friend Kylie was checking in on me. My husband and I had just suffered a big loss. We survived a tornado, and so we were going through a lot, kind of mentally, physically, with everything pretty much. And I gotta turn these comments off. I'll just laugh the whole time. Anyway, and so we were going through a lot of anxiety, depression, PTSD, and things were really hard for us. Not only were we trying to rebuild our house and kind of put our life back together, but we were struggling mentally. And so Kylie actually reached out to me just to check up on me. And I immediately was like, nope, sorry, I see you do Plexus. I'm not interested. And I was immediately on the defensive just because I was not a fan of what I thought I knew about MLMs and what I thought I knew about Plexus. And through us just talking about things and me really opening up to her, I decided that, you know what, we're going to give this a try. So a few months later, we ordered the products, and within 3 weeks, my husband and I got off all of our prescription and melatonin sleeping medication. And after that, we just started to feel better and have more energy, and life just, it got better. We also started it for weight loss. And so that was really cool, just to kind of trim up a little bit and feel a little bit better in our clothes. Not that either one of us had like a lot to lose, but just to kind of get that bloating down. And yes, doing it together was amazing because having an accountability partner really helped us to stay consistent together. So something Kylie didn't know, because I just didn't talk about it, was we had struggled with infertility for about 3 years at this point. However, 5 months into our Plexus journey, we found out that we were expecting. So that was really special for us. I'd had surgery. I had been diagnosed with endometriosis. I'd had my tubes flushed. I mean, we were 1 week away from our first appointment at a specialist. So we've been going through so much, and to find out that we just needed a little bit of extra gut balancing, and we had to kind of get ourselves right in order for us to really support an environment for a baby. So I went through that whole pregnancy on Plexus, had a baby, recovered, and while I was pregnant in my second trimester, I started getting really bad migraines. And then Kylie was like, well, let's try this great product called Ease. Once we started on Ease, y'all, my migraines got better, swelling, like everything really improved. And fast forward, I have that beautiful baby, and now this is my second Plexus baby, an oops baby actually. And well, not oops, I should say surprise, which is really exciting because we never thought that that was going to be possible for us. My son has a lot of skin issues and suffers with eczema. He get these horrible rashes all over his elbows and ankles and knees. And Kylie, by the way, I forgot to turn on my timer, so here we go. I would tell all my friends, if you have skin issues, you've got to try a probiotic. It's amazing. And I was like, Lauren, oh my gosh, use it on your son. So twice a day, we'd break open that capsule, put it in his milk, and y'all, I'd be happy to show you pictures. It's on my Facebook profile, but within 1 week, his eczema flare was completely gone. He wasn't scratching till he bled anymore. And now if he ever has a flare from, allergies, environment, food, whatever, we just know to increase his probiotic a little bit, and it's so much better. It is so much more manageable. And this just, Plexus has changed our lives. So I'm so grateful for it. After this, oh yeah, that was the other thing. Thanks, Kylie. A week after being on the increased dose of the probiotics, our daycare teacher came up to us about Bo and told us that his behavior was better. He was following better directions. He wasn't having outbursts as badly. So it really, it really helped him overall, not only with skin problems, but just kind of being more comfortable in his own skin. So thanks for the time to listen about my story. And now is Kylie.
Thanks, Lauren. So I'm Kylie. I've been on Plexus for the last 4.5 years. I started when I saw my friend who was having trouble nursing her baby with gluten, soy, and dairy allergies finally find something that she found where she could eat whatever she wanted and her daughter wouldn't get sick. And I'm in healthcare and I'm a longtime athlete, all the things. So I thought I knew it all. And also thought naturopath and supplements were woo-woo. So go figure. And so anyways, so I started Plexus because I trusted my friend Kara, who's also a PT, and she shared the science behind it and it made sense, but I was still skeptical and I trusted her though. So I went for it and I literally had nothing to lose because there was a 60-day guarantee. So it's like, and we did not have money. So like, let me just be very clear here. We started with -50 in the hole and $20,000 in credit card debt and $150,000 student loan debt. So don't tell me for 2 seconds if you have money or don't have money. You will invest in what you find value in. And when in doubt, do commit it for the 60 days because you've got nothing to lose. You can literally get your money back. There's no reason, and don't be the reason why it doesn't work because you didn't do it. And so that was me, is I was like, I'm just gonna go all in. I'm gonna get a big pack because I wanted to feel better yesterday. So I started and I went for the big pack because I like more bang for my buck. I'm like a Sam's Club kid. And so I always like the free extra products and all the things. And I immediately noticed improvements, and I had 2 under 2 at the time. I'm now pregnant with baby number 4. Also swore I'd never have more than 2 kids. So like, never say never. It's on your to-do list. God's going to put it on there. Just letting you know. So like, spoiler. But the other thing was just God totally blessed it because I no longer struggled with my postpartum and I was putting my kids to bed because I was exhausted and I couldn't mentally handle them. And that was just not why I signed up to be a mom. And I ripped my husband's head off in a hot second because my hormones were out of whack and I no longer had painful cycles. I literally didn't realize I started my first cycle. And I used to be debilitated, like Tylenol 3 with codeine. I would buy cars with seat heaters. I would literally miss work. I was nauseous in the field position. So like to the nth degree, that was me. And I almost died at 18 because of blood clots because I was on birth control for acne. Go figure. So don't freaking do birth control for acne. I gotta tell you that. But if I would have known about Plexus when I was 15, my freaking goodness, I would have done that because my skin is the best it's ever been in my life. And I had tried a million things for my skin. And then like Ease, how Lauren was talking about it. I use Ease. I had 2 babies with no Plexus. My little boy, I had one that was 18 months and one that was 3 months when I started Plexus. My 3-month is now 4, and he would blood curdling scream every night at 4 a.m. because of how constipated he was. And I tried everything. We did 6 different formulas. We did Caro syrup. We did wives' tales. We did all the nursing like bombs that you could possibly do for babies. It was just not fun. And when I started Plexus and I realized that my digestion was regular and I was struggling with constipation, it was the only thing that worked for me. I was like, this stuff is natural. It's way better than all the other crap I was just giving my kid. So like, why not? So I just split the capsule open, put some ProBio 5 in a bottle. Next morning, he immediately pooped by himself. First time in 3 months by himself. And he had a yeast infection. His whole diaper line was a yeast infection. And that made me know that it worked because the ProBio 5 is supposed to kick out all the junk. So it was actually doing its job. And then I was like, okay, mom mode, go back to the pediatrician, get yeast infection cream, whatever. I did it for 4 days. It literally did absolutely nothing for my son. It left, like, he still had a yeast infection, just as red as day one. And I was like, well, BioCleanse, it's a part of our triplex, like our gut health system. The whole point of that is to help flush out all the toxins. If I just sprinkle a little bit of that in with ProBio 5, it should clear it up. No lie, very next day, whole yeast infection's gone. And I'm like, cool, never going back to a pediatrician. That sounds good. So my kids love Plexus. they take the pink drink, and we have one that's just a gut microbiome. They call it their superhero drink. They literally were ticked at me because we were out of kids' vitamins and they were asking if I could get it shipped faster. So they love the sleep gummies. They call it their sandwich. So I cut it and I squish it on top of their vitamins, so they eat it together and they love it. And they've had active because it helps with increased blood flow. And so I just like sprinkle some into like a flavored water, and they love it. And I will tell you, their demeanor is so much better, light years. And my other son, my oldest, he's 6 now. He used to have nightmares, and they don't have a lot of sugar, but they're kids, and like we like to, we want to make s'mores tomorrow night. So like they're going to drink superhero drink before bedtime because it'll balance the sugar in their body. And usually it's that nightmare that comes up. And so I just sprinkle that in there and give him a little Probio 5, and he no longer has nightmares. So, anyways, so healthiest pregnancies and postpartums. Literally came home on no pain meds, returned to work 2 weeks postpartum after a C-section. And I plan to do that on this one as well. And my OB is kind of going, you don't have any swelling in your feet. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's ease. Like, I already know this. So anyways, just want to let you know, like, your body, but if you have questions and you want to know if this works, like, obviously it works. We're all here. And so we've been here, but if you want to nerd out on anything, feel free to ask questions. There's no dumb question. If you have skepticism about anything, we've all been there. And so anyways, I appreciate you guys listening and hopping on. And Carrie is our freaking redhead bombshell over here. That's amazing. And I love her to death. She's going to close us out.
Well, that was really sweet, Kylie. Thank you. Okay, so like so many of my friends that have gone before me, I started for myself. I was a mom of 4. I had turned 40, and I had suffered from hypothyroidism and IBS for a long time and had found no relief from either one of those. And so very skeptically, I started, and I was ready to turn to my friend Emily and say, I told you this wouldn't work, but then I couldn't because it did work. And even though all of my wins are amazing, still my favorite win came about a year into my Plexus journey, and I was making enough money by sharing with friends that I was able to get my family on the products. And so my husband was starting it, and I looked at my daughter, who my oldest one at that time was 17, and she had suffered from eczema since she was 1 year old. She started out with little patches on her face. As she got older, it was not only on her face, but it was on her arms. And then as she was in her teenage years, it was on her legs. And when I say it was on her legs, I mean from like the tops of her thighs all the way down to her ankles. And she was on the dance team at the high school, so she was wearing the cute little short skirts, and it was very embarrassing for her. I cannot tell you how much time and money we spent at doctor's offices, at specialists, at dermatologists. We bought all the creams, all the medication. We did all of the weird things. Like, when I say weird things, I'm talking about bleach baths, talking about like lathering her legs in Vaseline and wrapping them in saran wrap. We were throwing away her razor every single day and replacing it with a new one. I was washing her sheets every day. We were making sure she wasn't wearing clothing 2 days in a row. We were doing all the things, you guys. And she was still waking up in the mornings with her legs bleeding because she was scratching in the middle of the night. It looked horrible. And I was worried about it scarring. And so I talked to Emily, and we said, well, why haven't I tried this for her? So I thought, I don't know if she's actually going to do this, but I'm going to give it a try. And y'all, she was just so desperate for relief. I mean, it hurt. It was painful. It looked terrible. She was embarrassed. And she started taking the probiotic, and her room was downstairs. And so she sent me a picture one night, and we were 13 days into taking the Probio 5. And this was in the winter time. And so she was coming home from school, and I wasn't really seeing her legs because she was wearing pants, leggings, whatever. And she sent a picture in her bedroom. She goes, I think it's working. And I text her back immediately. I was like, get up here. Let me see that. Clear. I mean, clear. You could still see little remnants of where it was clearing up, but her legs were absolutely clear. And she has not had a flare up since that day. And she's about to be 22 next month. That was when she was 17. She takes the probiotic, and if you would have told me that that was related somehow to her gut health, I would have laughed because I had no idea. Even though I was a year into my own journey of gut health and what it was doing for me, I just could not see the connection between skin and gut health. And until I started researching it after I saw her like success stories, I thought, gosh, these products are incredible. I mean, we started ditching all the creams and all the weird things that we were doing and thought, this is all we need, this one little bottle. And we tried all the things, you guys. So after that, I got the rest of my kids on there. And actually, my youngest daughter, who's now 11, she was, oh, I don't know how old she would have been at the time. She had little patches of eczema on her stomach. Those went away. She's never had it again. Everybody in our house has such great benefits from these products, you guys. And so it makes me so happy to be able to share with what it's done for myself, for all of my friends that you guys have gotten to hear tonight, so many others. If you would like to see the pictures of my daughter's legs, we have like before and afters, because really, I mean, I can say it, but the picture speaks 1,000 words. I would be happy to send them to you guys. But we're just so thankful that you guys took the time out of your night to be here and to listen to our stories. And if you have any questions, like Kylie said, there's no question that's a dumb question. Ask, because I can almost guarantee you that if you were to Google gut health and whatever it might be that you're dealing with, there's probably a connection. We would love to share it with you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're so appreciative. Talk to you guys later.